Hello and welcome to the fifth and final session in the UK Challenges section of this particular video series. So today's session is really not going to be about content, and this is going to allow pupils that are doing the work at home to actually take part in practicing the dreaded 16-mark question. So today's session is really the assessment that all the students in school are going to be completing. So in front of you I have a very typical 16-mark essay question that you're going to find in the UK Challenges paper. So it's the very last question you're going to get in a geography GCSE exam paper. So it says, discuss the view that UK population growth and net migration will create pressure on UK ecosystems, for 12 marks. Now, the one thing I'm not going to give you in this particular assessment is something which all of these particular discussed questions have, and that's lots of resources. Because I would like you to use your notes from the previous sessions as resources. So if you look at this particular question, it wants you to look at the UK population growth, which is from our first challenge. It wants you to look at net migration, which is from our second challenge, and how that's going to create pressure on UK ecosystems, which you could tie into the first challenge, but you could also tie it into, if you wanted to, the landscape challenges as well. So, have a go at doing this. Now, I'm going to give you loads of structure in order to help you do this, but honestly, the best advice I can give you is to watch the discuss question video PowerPoint in the GCSE revision folder playlist of my JobVlogs channel. Now, although that talks you through going through resources and using resources to answer the question, I would like you to not use resources when it comes. No, that's not true. I want you to use resources in your answer, but I'm not going to provide them because I want you to pick. I've given you loads over the course of these videos. It might mean you have to go back to look at lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, whatever. But I've given you loads of resources throughout the duration of these 4 challenges prior to this lesson. I'd like you to use the ones that you think are most suitable to try and practice this particular question. So on the screen, aside from the title of the essay, which you should write down, I've got like a little mark scheme, a grading system for you. So those getting kind of grades 1 to 3 are going to be looking at marks of maybe 1 to 5. All right, so you'll identify basic impacts of population growth and migration on ecosystems of the UK. So basic impacts: population growth removes trees. Okay, migration it means there's more pressure on building houses, which removes trees. Okay, that's their basic impacts. Basic reasons or development attempted, okay, or it's just descriptive, so not a great answer, you've just given me basically just, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. You might describe how some factors can be managed, okay, in your answer. So it talks about how they'll create pressure on UK ecosystems, but I would argue that you should be saying something about how some of those threats are being managed to show your depth of knowledge. Specific stats are rarely or inappropriately used or not used at all. So if you don't have stats in there, you're going to be no better than a grade 1 to 3. And your SPAG might be poor. You might not use specialist terms well or at all. You might not have a structure. If you want to know how to do the structure, watch the video on the JobVlogs GCSE revision folder. If you want to do a decent job, okay, grades 4 to 6, then you should be giving me impacts of population growth and migration on ecosystems and reasons to justify them. They don't have to be detailed reasons, just basic, simple reasons. So why is population growth chopping down trees? How is migration affecting ecosystems? Describe how some factors can be managed. Again, tie in a bit of management. This can be rectified by this. Try and use some specific stats, and again, you'll have good SPAG in your answer. You should be writing pretty well. If you misspell words here and there, fine. It says may or may not have a conclusion, but maybe if you do have a conclusion, it's a bit brief. Okay, that's the kind of thing we're looking at for grades 4 to 6. If you're looking at grades 7 to 9, I'll let you read that. If you're a grade 7 to 9 candidate, you're capable of reading the information. Okay, so that's not the only help I'm going to give you though. Okay, I've given you that discussed question in the GCSE revision folder. I've given you a bit of a mark scheme, a very, very brief one. But I'm also going to give you some advice on planning your answer. Okay, now this is a screen that I'm only going to put on there very briefly. Okay, Don't worry about the 20-25 minutes of solid writing after detailed planning time. This is your first time of doing it, take as long as you want, okay? We'll get down to time scales another time, because you've got to go and find the resources, you've got to go and make sure you've got the information, okay? But have a look through these different bullet points, and that will help you plan your answer. So wait and pause the screen for when you want to start planning your answer, but there is one more screen to help you a little bit as well, which will give you an idea about putting different bits in each paragraph. Okay, so you can come back to this screen by going back in the video at whatever time I've said this, and you can see these bullet points. And then the very final bit of information I'm going to give you is actually about structure advice. So paragraph 1, I'd like you to identify an impact of on UK ecosystems of population growth or migration. Develop or extend that issue and include a specific. Okay, so point, evidence, explain, extend. Then identify how that impact could be managed. Then look at another impact, how it could be managed. Then overall, is population growth and migration affecting ecosystems in the UK negatively or not? That's really a kind of a basic structure, 5 paragraphs. They don't have to be massive, but 5 paragraphs. Try and tie in stats, specifics, use resources and information I've given you from previous lessons. But all this is really is just principally, can you discuss something? Can you give 2 sides to an argument? If you want more clarity on the discuss questions, get on the GCSE revision playlist and watch the discuss video. Okay, it really, really will help you, at least to some level, have a go at this answer. Okay, right, that is this session and this series of videos completely done. There is an entire summary of the UK Challenges sessions in the GCSE revision folder, alongside that discuss question support. So if you want to recap all of them in one go, watch that video. It's about an hour or so long, definitely worth a watch, and that'll be really good for long-term revision when it comes to getting to the end of year 11. Alright, but for now, thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me or whoever your teacher is, and I'm sure if you've contained or followed the information and got lots of decent notes, you're set up pretty well for the exam. So good luck. I'll see you next time for another job vlog.